Hey, Screaming Geek Meat here. I am Jerry the Geek. We got another video for you today. We actually are going to talk about my monthly roundup of movies I've watched. And I did go back to doing monthly themes this past month, and for the month of July, my theme was first-time watches. I went through and watched movies I'd never seen before. You know, kind of forced me to watch some that has been sitting on my shelf for a long time. And a couple of them were kind of newer titles I've just recently got. But before we dive into that, if you like physical media, if you like 4Ks, Blu-rays, DVDs, if you like home theater, movies in general, you know, check out my other videos on my channel because I do the discussions like this, you know, collection updates. Also, I do reviews, unboxings. You know, check that stuff out, see what you like. You know, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn your bell notifications on. So let's jump into what I watched during the month of July. Again, my monthly theme was first-time watches. And the first one I'm going to mention is Killer Condom. I did a review of this. I got this on 4K. It comes from Vinegar Syndrome. You know, check out the review and see what I have to say about this. But this is a crazy movie, but actually enjoyable. I really like this. I would not be afraid to watch it again anytime. Next up, we have the duo of Shaft, the original from 1971, and also Shaft's Big Score. You know, the Criterion set here has both movies together. And also, you can get this on 4K, but I got the Blu-ray because I wanted the entire franchise on the same format. And I did reviews of both these movies as well you can check out. Next up, we have the Angry Birds movie on 4K. This was a phenomenal movie. I've had this for quite a while, and I just never got around to watching it. So my wife and I watched it at the beginning of the month. Really fun movie. Really good. Next up, we have Grudge Match on Blu-ray. It has Robert De Niro and Sylvester Stallone. And what's really funny about these two, you know, Stallone is known for the Rocky franchise. And Robert De Niro was famous from doing Raging Bull, you know, a boxing movie. You know, it's pretty cool to take two older actors that are known for boxing roles and throw them together in a movie. This is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. Next up, we have Tomorrowland with George Clooney. Another first-time watch. I really enjoyed this. I've had this for a long time. Good movie, fun time watch. I definitely recommend checking that out. Next up, we have Tower Heist. Main reason I got this was I had, you know, Eddie Murphy. One reason I didn't want to watch it was because Ben Stiller. I hate about everything he's ever done. I just cannot stand him. But surprisingly, he does a good job. This is a really good movie. It's not your typical, you know, comedy stuff that he does. You know, like I said, I got it for Eddie Murphy. It's a really fun movie. It's worth checking out. Next up, we have Unknown with Liam Neeson. Very good movie here. Basically, you know, kind of a cheap, you know, kind of a little bit of a ripoff of the Bourne Identity movies. Got a little accident happens. He loses his memory and tries to get it back, and he's getting framed. So, but in itself, this is a really good movie. Definitely worth checking this out. Next up is a movie I've had for a long time. It's been out for a long time. I just never got around to watching it because a lot of people have really ripped on it and didn't get a lot of popularity. Doom with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. You know, back when they first started doing movies, they didn't go by Dwayne Johnson. They went by The Rock. But surprisingly, I really enjoyed this. Of course, I'm unbiased because I did not play the game. So I'm unbiased in that point. So I always go in an open mind. You know, I got the Steelbook through a Best Buy Black Friday deal years ago. So I've had it sitting on the shelf for a long time. So again, I enjoyed this movie. It was fun. Yeah, sure, the people that liked the game didn't like the movie. But if you didn't get into the game, you know, I would recommend checking this out. It is a lot of fun. Next up is another movie that people really hate on. The reboot of RoboCop. You talk about the original RoboCop, such a cult classic. It shouldn't be messed with. But to bring it in today's times, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought there was nothing wrong with this. I would definitely recommend checking this out. I definitely want to pick up the 4K of this and, see if it's any, better than Blu-ray. But this was spectacular. Such a fun, I mean, they really dive into the, character, before he becomes RoboCop. And in my opinion, there is much more to this than original. Some of you might hate on me saying that, but yeah, there's, as much as I love the original, there's things about this I liked better. So yeah, I really recommend getting this. Forget about what people have talked about, how crappy this is. Yeah, I hate movies being rebooted, classic ones, but there's nothing wrong with this one. I really love this. Next up, we have a movie called Underdog. It's a boxing movie. Dives into the underbelly, the female MMA fighter, her upbringing, how she got into fighting, the spirit of fighting and keep going and fighting, forgetting about people telling you can't do it and just going out there and freaking doing it. So this is a really good movie worth checking out. Next up, we've got a Rutger Hauer movie, Hobo with a Shotgun. I was skeptical when it first started because it is way out there. It's pretty over the top. But it's actually, once you get into it and overall, this is a really good movie. If you like some of those kind of cheesy movies, especially with, Rutger Hauer's, he hasn't done a lot of mainstream movies. He's done a lot of low budget movies, but he's always been a good actor I've really enjoyed. But this is a fun movie. It's worth checking out. Next up, you'd be surprised I've never watched this before. Jaws of Revenge. I did a review of this. It's a 4K. I think mainly after Jaws 3, I kind of lost faith in the franchise and never watched the other ones. That's probably why I never watched this one. But overall, this is a really good movie. And plus, a 4K kicks ass. It is a great return after the questionable third one. So yeah, definitely recommend picking this up. Next up, we have another Liam Neeson movie, Honest Thief. Really good movie here. Basically, he's a bank robber, and all of a sudden he meets this girl, and he decides he wants to give that up. And he decides, he's never spent the money he's stolen. He basically has it all stashed away, and he gets to where he wants to start a new life with his girlfriend, and he decides he basically calls the FBI. He wants to turn himself in, and basically things happen. He gets framed for things he didn't do, and all because he wants to turn himself in, and now he's become as a bad guy. And he just basically the whole movie just wants to prove himself right. So very well done movie here. I definitely recommend picking this up. Next up is a movie, I probably shouldn't include this in the list, Hammer of the Gods, because I didn't watch the whole thing. But I want to talk about it, so I decided to put it in there because I didn't make it 10 minutes into this. It's just something about Viking movies, I guess. I don't know why it turns me off. I tried watching the show Vikings years ago, and I couldn't get it. I watched like 8 to 10 episodes, and I just got bored with it. And the same thing here. You got people being killed off right off the bat. It's a lot of bloodshed, and it just gets. I don't know. I got bored with it, and I didn't like it, and I was like, I turned it off. I just could not stand it. But if you like Viking movies, if you like that kind of stuff, Vikings and Saxons, I would, recommend, checking it out. But otherwise, I could not get into it, but I tried. Now, next up is a surprise underdog movie. The Darkness has Kevin Bacon. I never heard of this thing. It came on, I think, 2017. I discussed this in my recent pickups. My wife she was at a Goodwill, and I was outside in the car, and she texted me and showed me a picture of it, and I was like, oh, go ahead and pick it up as Kevin Bacon. I'd never seen it before, but damn good movie. It has to do with supernatural stuff, but I would recommend, checking this out. Next up, we have Astronaut with Richard Dreyfuss. Another one I've had for a while. I'm not even sure where I picked this up. I don't know if it was at Dollar Tree or Big Lots or Goodwill. I can't remember. I know I probably wouldn't have paid more than a few dollars for it. But a really good movie overall. It's kind of a sad, depressing movie. Depends on how you feel about things because it has to do with looking at a person's own mortality, about dying and coming to the end of your life. So yeah, a lot of this is kind of depressing, but it is overall a very good movie. I was very impressed with this. Next up, we have a Ridley Scott movie that I've never seen, All the Money in the World. It starts out a little skeptical of the way it's filmed, but I gave it a chance, and it is an overall really good movie. Got Mark Wahlberg, Christopher Plummer, so it has Michelle Williams. So a really nice cast. It's a period movie. That's the one thing you have to, just the way it was filmed, the overall look of it's kind of different. But once you get past that, the story and everything, this is a really good movie. Very impressive. Next up, we got Fury with Brad Pitt, which I just filmed a review. Should have that up on the channel for you to check out as well. Really good movie about World War II. Them fighting the Nazis in the heart of Germany. Actual name of the tank is actually called Fury. And also has to do with the brotherhood of the people that work in the tank, the team. And also the bonding of the guys, because at the beginning, they lose one of the guys and get assigned another guy, and they don't like him. And he has to try to fit in. He doesn't want to be there. So overall, very good movie, very impressive. And also the 4K kicks ass. Again, check out my review of that. It is an incredible 4K here. And the last of my first time watches, The American Made with Tom Cruise. Another, definitely a sleeper hit that people don't talk about when you talk about Tom Cruise. This is a very well done movie based on true events. Barry Seal, how he was a TWA pilot and gets roped in to help with the CIA flying a plane over Central America. Spy missions, taking pictures, collecting data. Then he gets roped into the drug cartel, trafficking drugs for them into the U.S. Then he starts smuggling guns, money laundering. So it's a pretty crazy movie, but it's a really fun movie. If you like Tom Cruise, definitely check this out. It's really good. I'm doing a review of this you can check out as well. Now, that does it for all the new watches that I watched in the month of July. But I do have 3 other movies I watched that I've seen before, but I just watched a tie in there. Another one is Dwayne Johnson, Rampage, based on a video game. This is a really good movie. I think some people, I don't know, it's got mixed reviews on it. You take a video game and try to make a movie out of it. I thought they did a really good job with it. It's a lot of fun. Great action movie. Plus, it's good for the audio system and really, crank it up and it, kicks ass. And next up, we've got Jaws 3, which has got a lot of controversy lately because of the 4K it had. I did a review of this, and I definitely didn't think this was as bad as everyone made it out to be. Yes, it wasn't as good as everything else out there. They really botched it, but again, check out my review, see my actual thoughts of it. And the final one, Twister on 4K, which I did a review of this as well, and it's not on my top 10 list like everyone else. Everyone talking about how this is a reference quality disc. I say they've been smoking some freaking crack because I saw flaws in the video. The audio was flawed. So yeah, this did not live up to my expectations. As good as this movie is, I was expecting much more out of 4K and it just didn't live up to that. So that pretty much does it for all the movies I watched in the month of July. I did the monthly theme again, first time watches, and I threw a couple of those in there as well. Plus, to get some reviews out for you. It's kind of nice to do the monthly theme again. I'll probably do a monthly theme again for the month of August. I'm thinking of doing like inspirational movies. So follow me on Instagram because as I post those whenever I want to when I do these monthly themes, I post that on Instagram, what I watch each day or every other day or whatever. But the inspirational movies, I'm thinking of covering like, again, I've got quite a few Christian movies, and even not, not Christian, but just, fun overall movies that when you watch, that kind of makes you feel good. Like a movie like Hoosiers. It's one of those movies that, it's inspirational when you feel good about it. So I'm thinking about doing that for the month of August. So again, follow me on Instagram to see what I'm watching and some of the different things I pick up every once in a while. So comment below. Let me know what you think of some of these I've watched this past month. Tell me what some of your favorite movies that you watched in the last month. So check out my other videos on my channel. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, and we'll see you soon. Geek out.